I said a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, could even have been longer than that there were only two fighters within the area code of Floyd Mayweather. And when I say area code, I'm talking about the weight range of Floyd Mayweather who would stand a good chance of beating him. And those two fighters, in my opinion, are now and have been for several years Erislandy Lara and Demetrius Andrade. Now, Andrade agrees with that statement because he's come out in the press this last week and basically said that. He said, the only guy out there who could beat Floyd or give him serious problems is me. I've always maintained that one of the secrets to Floyd Mayweather, apart from the fact that he's very well coordinated and he's very sharp and he's always in shape and he's quick and he's got good balance and, all the other attributes that Floyd Mayweather has, I've always maintained that one of the biggest secrets to his success in the ring is the fact that he has such long arms for his height. Just to put it in perspective, Floyd Mayweather has the same reach as Sergey Kovalev. I'm not making this up. Sergey Kovalev is 6 foot, 6'1", something like that, and he's a light heavyweight. Mayweather has the same reach as him. And even when Mayweather fights somebody with a reach that is similar to himself, or even longer than himself, he normally has longer arms because arm length and reach are two different measurements. I've been through this countless times on my channel. I'm not going to explain what the difference is again, but it's a very, very different measurement. Arm length is a much more accurate measurement than reach. For example, Oscar De La Hoya had a longer reach than Floyd Mayweather, but shorter arms. Yeah, shorter arms than Mayweather, even though he had a longer reach. Diego Corrales had shorter arms and a shorter reach than Floyd Mayweather. So, and plus Diego Corrales was never a guy who can box very well at long range anyway. He was a tall guy that liked to slug and get down in the trenches. Kind of like a Margarito who never used his height and reach. So, yeah, Mayweather has always been a guy with very long arms for his height who relies on that. Relies on controlling the action in the middle of the ring and being fast and all that kind of stuff. And using that shoulder roll and keeping you at the optimum distance, the optimum striking distance. And obviously when you get inside on him, he's very good at, rolling and all that type of stuff. And I've always felt if there's a guy that's going to beat Mayweather, it has to be a guy who's not going to engage Mayweather in a boxing match. Who's not going to play chess with him. And the best way to not play chess with the guy is, for example, to do what Vladimir Klitschko did against Eddie Chambers. I'm telling you now that Eddie Chambers is more skillful than Vladimir Klitschko. But Klitschko nullified Eddie Chambers' skills just by using his height and reach. He wasn't trying to play no chess with Chambers. He wasn't, allowing Chambers to get close to him. When he did get close, he would lean on him. He would throw the jab and keep him at a certain distance. So it never turned into a chess game. You throw this punch, I count with this. No, I'm going to keep you at the end of this long ass reach where you can't reach me. And that's going to be the end of it. You ain't going to be countering nothing because your arms are not long enough to reach me with counters. And I've always felt if you got an athletic guy in there against Floyd, who was significantly taller and had longer arms than him and knew how to use those long arms, I think somebody like that could beat Floyd. And I've always cited a Tommy Hearns as somebody like that because Hearns was ridiculously tall. He knew how to use his height and reach. Nobody ever outboxed Tommy Hearns. The only guys who ever beat him, when he was anywhere near his prime at least, were guys who were the brawler type, the physical type guys who would get in and, take him into the trenches like Marvin Hagler did, like Aaron Barkley did, etc. Like Juan Rodan tried to do, and he did hurt Tommy Hearns. So those kind of guys were always the guys who would give Hearns trouble. But when you put him in there with a guy that's going to box with him, Hearns was too long. His reach is like 77 inches. He's like 6'1", 6'2". You just couldn't box with a guy. Not even Ray Leonard could box with him. That's why Ray Leonard had to take the fight to him in the end to pull the victory out of the bag in the 14th round. Was it 13th or 14th round? I forget now. So I've always felt like a guy like Hearns would force Floyd out of his comfort zone. Floyd wouldn't just be able to sit back and counter like he normally likes to do. He wouldn't be able to do that. Floyd would actually be the one that has to come forward and take risks in order to land. And that's what he would have to try and do as well against Demetrius Andrade. Now, Andrade is not the devastating puncher that Tommy Hearns is, but he certainly hits hard enough. And certainly hits hard enough to hurt or knock out Floyd Mayweather, who's much naturally smaller than he is. And I think Andrade, with that long reach, because he's got a longer reach than Floyd, he's taller, longer arms, everything, and he's slick, and he's fast. I think he'd have a very good chance of beating Mayweather. Now, I've been saying this for years. I just think that Mayweather wouldn't be able to overcome that kind of reach disadvantage, which he's not used to. And it's not a reach disadvantage against somebody that don't know how to use the reach. It's a reach disadvantage against somebody who's slick, who knows how to use the reach, who's young, who's athletic, who's fast, and who's a southpaw. So we're never going to see that fight anyway. If Floyd does come back, it will be against some marquee name for seriously big money. It won't be against some young, unbeaten, huge guy. I mean, relative to him, who is trying to make a name for himself in the sport. It will be against a guy who's already established. So that is what that is. I still watch Demetrius Andrade's career with interest though, because he's one of the fighters who could go on to be something special in the future. He might. I mean, we don't know yet. You know, he's got a lot to prove himself. But I see the potential there for him to go on and be something special. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.